Early to bed, early to rise, work hard, and advertise. Famous man once said. Stay tuned. We're going to tell you more.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael BURGIO, Mark Novak, episode 576. And this morning we're going to talk about why we do the show, why we have done 576, and just sort of give you a bit of the backstory of why, and would love your feedback as always. So, like Mark, this 576, we mostly do about 5-6 days a week. It's almost 3 years, I believe, that we've done the show. This isn't like something normally that real estate agents do. So it's not like we're just following someone like it's a common path for agents. Quite unique what we do. And it really, the foundation was our phone calls. It all started where up and coming in real estate, Mark's always busy during the day, and you always want time from that person. And then I was like, well, if I call him, he drives.
Yeah, that's right.
He drives 40 minutes to work every morning, and obviously most people are asleep. And I'm like, well, if I call him then, I can get uninterrupted and expand and talk through stuff when buyers say this about the market.
Yeah.
And that's where it stemmed from, the negotiations part of it. And then we started talking about what we think the economy is doing, get into the numbers. And then I remember one day Mark was like, this, especially when we're trying to push Facebook Lives, and mostly everyone would only use social media for marketing properties. But we always get a lot of questions from people, and Mark was like, we should put what we're talking about online. Like, people would want to hear it. It's the most rawest, on the ground perspective of real estate, and then we get access. Like, someone may know a friend who owns 2 properties, and that's it. But we know people who own 100 properties, and we're sort of got so much information, not from us, but from our clients that goes through us, and we can relate to people. So we're in a super unique position, and that's where Mark was like, let's do this on live. And we fumbled around when Facebook, remember Mark would let you do the live and add someone, which was fucked, because how many mistakes was there? It cut out, but it
was awful. Yeah, it was embarrassing. Still is.
Yeah, talk us through when you were like, let's put this out there. Surely people want to hear it, because that's the beginning of.
Yeah, actually, you just jogging by memory. Like, so we were doing. So Burge and I were just decided. And sorry to repeat what you're saying, Burge, but I think it's such a cool story, because you and I was like chasing each other during the day, and there was a little bit of training involved in there, and it was like, you know what, if we just I've got this time before I get into the office that's sort of free time. Let's optimize on that. So you and I were just having great conversations every morning at 7:45. And the conversations consisted of deals, clients questions, answers, feedback, strategy. And then at that same time, there was just this huge social media, podcasts were pumping hard, and people and a lot more video was rolling out on Facebook. So we were like, let's do this. Let's do this online. But it definitely was. We've stuffed up heaps, and hey, Burge, there's also been you can't get it right. Like, we've offended some people as well, which I don't like. But you don't want this safe, boring show that's just repetitive and not sparking people either. So we've had some pretty cheeky content go up, and some upset people. People probably wouldn't have realised, but we've probably deleted 2 or 3 shows because there's been such pushback.
Yeah, but I think people got to realise not everyone's always going to agree, but it's very important to hear an opinion aside. And I think there's a couple of reasons why people don't do the show, especially in real estate, and why we saw a need for the content because no one was doing this. So we did it in the way we could. Two parts of it. The technical side is so bad and it's so embarrassing. If it wasn't for Mark's resilience and stubbornness, I would have quit 1,000 times because I was nervous enough doing it live and then nervous enough sharing my opinion, which it will be important in the second part of my comments here, was it would cut out and it was just like, is this even good? Imagine being the viewer. Like I would always imagine myself watching something, and if YouTube was buffering for a split second, I've cracked the shits because I just want to watch it. So that's the reason why people don't. They don't persevere, look for other ways to do it. Like if you look at our setup from then to now. And then the other thing as well, Mark, which goes to what you're saying, people and why they let comments get to them, people are not confident in their opinions. They may be confident in the opinion in their head and the reason why, but they're not confident of putting it out. They share it because they think people mix up a disagreement. People think if you agree with me, you're attacking my personality, or you're disagreeing with me on a human level. So and that's where society is pretty fucked right now. And mainly when people push back or they get pushed back and they stop, which we've been really resilient in. One, because we're speaking the truth and to the best of our knowledge. So we're confident there. And it's okay to have an opinion. Like if you think if this happens in the rental market and that's going to happen with pricing, obviously it takes a bit of confidence for us to say that, but it comes off education, comes off and living it and having a bit of a thick skin. Because if we had someone, if they go, I don't agree with you because of immigration, some people would be like, you're attacking me. I don't know. So I reckon just as much as the technical side, the people taking it, the confidence to share your opinion, I think what people need confidence in.
Absolutely. And good morning to Sean Svendotter. Sean says, if you've offended anyone, g'day, Sean. If you've offended anyone on here, they're probably going to be very difficult persons anyway. So in effect, you've had to trash itself out. It's true. It's true. Trash itself out. It's true. And you know what, Burge, the content has been very hard to find for people. If you want to get good local real estate news, ring your real estate agent. Anything short of that, bad luck. So it's been very hard. You'd get it in the realestate.com, you'd get it in domain.com.au news. But you get it if you ring your real estate agent.
Take that a little bit deeper and more broader, and like buyers, Mark, there was no information on anything, like how to make an offer, how to go in a cooling off period. Like there was no good source, and there was a couple articles, but there was no good audio and visual. Podcast was going through the roof, and no one was, and you could see instead of reading an article, people would rather watch a podcast like a Joe Rogan for 3 hours if it's got that info. Like I think people forget for a buyer, like think how much, if you want to learn something, Mark, how much do you YouTube the shit out of it? You research, you listen to stuff, and you get that education part of it. But in real estate, there's basically none of that. The only educational stuff is like how agents get richer and sometimes a bit on the theory of how many properties to buy, how to do it. But there was no one giving you one localized information because everything's always so broad. New South Wales, Sydney, like fuck, if you're in a small suburb of 1,000 homes, what's Sydney got to do with your area? So we've been able to offer that quite uniquely, Northern Beaches based, which will attract your tribe. And then, so go deep on that because that's why the social.
And actually, one other thing, Burge, if people haven't realised, you cannot get that content. Nikki says we've done 18,000 downloads on. She's uploaded all of the all of the podcasts. You legend. But you know what, guys and girls, if you haven't realised, Google isn't surfacing as much information that you want these days. Probably sounds really stupid, but I was Googling on Sunday how to kill mosquitoes. and I got over Google. I'm like on my laptop, and I'm like, screw you. Experience on my phone, trying to find the answer on how to kill mosquitoes. And then I actually had then I went on to Facebook and Googled the same question, and it was rich in content. So if you haven't realised, there's a big wall between Google online when you're searching between Google and Facebook, and you actually have to separately go into Facebook to get that information. But it is rich with content from millions of people. Why? Because it's easier to put content up.
Yeah, and that's the main thing. Like, there was just such a big. There was like nothing. You can read the New South Wales Fair Trading about real estate, but it doesn't. If you are serious about buying a property, getting into real estate, there was such a disconnect from the little written stuff, which was more laws. We talk a lot about strategies, theories, perceptions of how you look at a deal. And where would you have learnt that? There was nothing on the ground level and a few books. So I think we're seeing more and more people do it with more market wraps, more quarterly stuff, like other agents are doing it, which is great because, Mark, life would be better if everyone was more educated, especially in real estate, how much easier that would make deals. I don't know, some people may think, oh, if they're smarter, it won't happen. Like, I don't know, some people think, but if that buyer, how good is being an agent out there? How good is it dealing with a client who's bought 20 properties, and how smooth is it compared to a client who's bought one? And if you could bring that one property purchaser up to the level of someone who's bought 3 or 4 through education like that we provide, it's a home run for everybody.
Everyone. Hey, Burge, I've got a question for you. How the hell do you do it every day? Hang on. If you get bitten by a mozzie, jab the spot, yellow glue the stick, and stop itching in seconds. Yeah, but the problem is when there's thousands of them, like on a farm, getting like there's like heaps. That's the hard bit. Anyway, thanks, Sean.
How we do
So
it?
how the hell do you do it, Burge? Every day, you're pulling yourself out of bed. You're not making another appointment at that time. How do you do it so friggin' consistently? So you're at the control center, in the studio, in the office. You call me right on 7:30 to like it's been an ongoing joke for like 12 months now. It's like precision. Lee Woodward had a real estate trainer had a bit to do with this as well. How the hell do you do it?
Yeah, people always talk about the why, all that, especially when you're losing weight and stuff like that. And I think the why here is, obviously, I love real estate, I love property, and if you love something, you generally love talking about it. And like Mark, we're quite fortunate. I believe we're very good at this, and you communicating. And when you deal with so many people, I think take for granted how lucky we are and how good it is that we can communicate with a conversation, because we get in the real world, that's super rare and it's very valuable. So having that love, knowing we're quite good talkers and we want to talk about it, it's bigger than waking up, because it's all in your head. You think about it. And I love podcasts. I love audio, and the thought of how much I've gotten out of those audio tapes and stuff. If I can do that to someone, like there's a lot of junior agents that there's probably about 10 to 15 that I speak to regularly, mentoring them and giving them advice. And this is a way I can do it on such a larger scale. So I think that's why it's bigger than waking up every morning. So what about you, Mark?
What's Sean say? There's a few plants you can grow near the front doors to keep the mozzies away in the house. It helps. Yes, lavender, lemongrass, and there was a mint, like some herbs, get rid of mozzies. But anyway, thanks, Sean. Yeah, I've like, because as you know, even with traveling, Verge, I'm often doing it as well. So I'll set up a little studio, or I'll sit in the car. In the last couple of years when I've been away, and pump out the show, and Lisa looks at me like I'm an idiot when we're away, because it's generally you sleep in and I'm getting out, pulling myself out of bed, doing the show in the car. which is the studio, and then jumping back into bed during a holiday. It's consistent. I do it. What pumps me is people telling me every day about some content that they enjoyed on this show. Every day I'm talking to customers. Every day I'm talking to friends. And they are all saying, "Oh yeah, and I saw blah 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 on your show," and you're like, "Do you watch that?" And they're like, "Yeah." You're like, "What?" And they're like, "Yeah." So even even at accurate moments, like I had a client in 27 Highview that we sold for last night, and like 3 or 4 days ago, we're in a cool off on his property, and 3 or 4 days ago, he's like, yeah. I watched your episode with Billy on cooling off periods, and I think blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, man, this is helping the right people. This is helping any people. This is just helping. So I just like that, Burge, we got 50 agents, 40 agents in the office. We can have the most talked about conversation in the office, ramped out, amplified, and pumped out to many people at a time, rather than one-on-one conversations in our office. That's what gets me going.
Well, on that note, thank you everyone for watching our 576 episode, 18,000 downloads, millions of views worldwide. Thank you. And that's a wrap. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, guys. Love ya. See ya. And share like Luke says. Luke, thank you so much for your support. You're a legend.
Yeah.
You